John, let's have a look at the Intermediate Hurling Championship semi-finals.
Yeah, 2 semi-finals down on Sunday as well. 12 noon in Cashel, the first semi-final there. Golden Kilfeacle against Ballingarry. Golden the West champions, Ballingarry the South champions. Both have come through to where they are. Golden have a very impressive record this year, following up on their county final defeat last year to Borlahan. And they brought that form into this year, we thought last year was probably a step too far for them, but they were up against a good Borlahan team, but came back in West champions this year, defeated Kappa White in it, moved on to the county series. The group, they were in the same group with Clonalty, Kappa White and Ballybacon, won their 3 games, brought them through then, and against Ballingarry, who were the South champions, who are also Division 3 league champions from earlier on in the year, and brought that forum through to them. So they are have the 2 competitions that they were in this year. They've got silverware out of it. Ballingarry came late against the Kickhams the last day out in the quarter final there. They were leading by they trailed 3-14 to 1-13 with 13 minutes to go, but rallied back, and I suppose Dylan Welsh was their top scorer with 1-8. Golden, on the other hand, they're a young team, a young side. I think there's probably 5 or 6 of them still, or six of them at least under 21. A very young forward line built around Jack Leamy, Ben Curran. Sam Hall is a guy that has come on this year and is very, very good. Gets in both in hurling and football, and the Daltons. But they have a very experienced backline there with the O'Connells there and Dahi Baggery. So
but they're playing with great confidence.
They are playing with great confidence, and success breeds success. They are winning their game now. The last day against up north there, Boris Kane, they started probably slowly. That was I think there were 7 points to 3 down early on, but they did pull away, that's a good sign of a team as the game went on. Jack Bergen again there got in for a goal in the second half. Sam Hall and Leamy with the goals in the first half. Leamy finished with 110. Ben Curran finished with 4 points from play. He's slotting in there all the time. As I said, it's a hard one to call, but I'm going to go with Golden for this one.
Yeah, an interesting one, and I suppose a lot will depend on the supply of ball going into the forwards, because the supply is everything. But again, as it's going back to the old cliche, it's all on the day.
It's all on the day.
And who wants it more?
Now, I suppose we have, I don't know what the weather is going to be like there for the actual Sunday, but it might have a difference, because they have been used to the nice dry sod up to now, but this time of the year things can change, and it's how teams will adapt to it. They're probably the younger side, Borlahan, but I think last year's experience will stand to them well, Stevie, and I fancy them to get over the line in this one. And that brings us to the second semi-final, which is in the Rag on Sunday, 12 noon as well. Moneygall up against Kappa White. It took Kappa extra time the last day against Shannon Rovers to get over the line, but they definitely pulled out in the finish there. They were cruising or going very, very well until the last 7 or 8 minutes against Shannon Rovers, and Shannon Rovers drew the game with Colin Moran goal 4 minutes into added time there in that game, bringing it to extra time. But Kappa pulled away in that extra time. What about Moneygall? Moneygall are the favourites. There's no doubt about it. They are favourites.
Some people are saying they're overwhelming favourites.
From the start of this competition, because they brushed aside the opposition in North Tipperary, came through the groups. I saw them playing against Kickhams in the Rag there. I think it was in round 3. Kickhams were near enough to them. Coming up to half time, they got in for a goal again, and they have that ability to score goals. Moneygall have. You have the 3 Fogartys and Kennelly, and there's always 2 of them out of the 4, and that's the way it's happening, getting in for goals at vital times in the match. They have scored a huge amount of goals. They've done the same thing the last day. They are the favourites for not only for the Sunday, but to actually win the competition out, because they were knocking on the door for a couple of years now. Cappawhite are in bonus territory, I think.
Well, you always, how many times have we said it before? You can't rule out Cappawhite.
No, you cannot.
They will come fighting for this.
Yeah, they're in bonus territory. They're one game away from being in the county final, 2 games away from getting promotion. While they are the underdogs going into, they still have their own matchmaker, Darragh McCarthy, Willie Barry, those guys.
There's massive heart in these.
They're well able to take their scores, and if they can curtail the goal threat of Moneygall, they certainly are in with a big chance there.
John, give me the relegation final.
Who's in the relegation final? Ballybacon and the Church. The Church up from they survived relegation last year at the final obstacle. Ballybacon have been knocking around again in and out of relegation there over the last couple of years. It's a very, very hard one to call, but I think Ballybacon will probably have more, I suppose, a bigger incentive to stay in intermediate, whereas the Church, it's their second team. They found it going tough this year. I think they wouldn't mind if they were back down in Junior A in the mid next year, but they won't give up without a fight. But I sort of fancy Ballybacon to retain their status for next year, Stevie.
Okay, John, you've given your views on that. We'll go back to both of you now once again. And Michael, we're going to have a look at the Junior Hurling Championship semi-finals, Killadangan and St. Patrick's. We also have Holy Cross Ballycahill. They'll be taking on Mile Rovers. It's back to you again, Mike.
Yeah, certainly, Stevie. Temple Toohey on Sunday there at 12:45. Killadangan, the North champions, against St. Pat's, the South runners up. Killadangan, who are just down from the intermediate grade, having been relegated last year, are looking to bounce straight back up and are going about it the right way. They did need extra time to win the North final against Tumivara, but they were comfortable in their quarter-final victory over Thurles 224 to 118. St. Pat's, they lost out to Mile Rovers in the South final, but came back with a victory over West champions Galtee Rovers there in the quarter final. They came out on top by a point, 21 points to 117. Galtee will have been disappointed. They finished with 13 men in that game, and had they kept their full complement, probably would have given themselves a better chance of progressing. But St. Pat's are through to meet Killadangan. Look, it's a game that's going to be very. It's a tough game. Conditions will probably dictate a lot of what's going to happen on Sunday. But St. Pat's maybe will be looking to slow down the Killadangan forwards with some bad weather maybe, but obviously that's out of their control. But I think Killadangan will probably have too much for the South team on this occasion. The other game then is in Cashel at 1:45 on the same day. Holy Cross against Mile Rovers. Holy Cross, the mid-champs. They accounted for Tumivara 26 points to 113 in the quarter-final. A real power performance to go along with a real excellent performance in the mid-final as well. So Holy Cross going very well. They have a good blend of experience and youth in this team, as they have across all the club in Holy Cross, going very well. They're in the Junior B final in the mid as well, and so this Holy Cross are probably one of the favourites for this competition. Mile Rovers, on the other hand, they won the South. They did what they had to do in the South Championship. They had a very easy victory, I would say, over Latin in the quarter final, 318 to 14 points. Stephen Quirk, Dara Ryan going very well for them. But look, I think Killadangan and Holy Cross overall are probably the two strongest teams in this competition this year, and they'll contest the final, which throws up, I suppose, a conundrum for the county board in who represents Tip in the Munster Club Championship. So the two South teams, I think, will have to play off against each other should they both lose at the weekend. So that'll be an interesting game, especially when Mile Rovers have football commitments, and indeed so do St. Pat's in the junior football. So it'll be interesting to see where that's fitted in should it come to pass. Should it come to pass,
and of course, whoever it will be, they will be playing Kilgarvan of Kerry.
That's right, yeah. Buff Egan's team, I
Both
think.
Eagles team, he's been asking us about it. So
yeah, and the Healy
that's-
Rays, I think, are from that area as well. So yeah, look, that'll be an interesting thing to see what'll happen. Of course, if either one of them win or if both of them win, it'll be down to the county final to see who represents Tip. So look, just I suppose an interesting anecdote going into the weekend.
Interesting previews of all games for this weekend with Michael McCarthy and John O'Shea. A big thank you to Andrew Friday and all at Clonolty Basmore. Please support their local lotto.